The Young Professional Mentorship Program is a very interesting journey, I must say. I think it takes us back to 2020. Many of us recall that's when everybody was locked down, so it resonates to everybody. And so I was working actually from Monday up to Sunday because I was among the essential workers at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. But you also recall that was a season where many young professionals, students were basically locked down. And fortunately for them, it was an era of social media, that's the only way you could get in touch with people. And I recognized a certain trend within my social media handles, most especially Facebook. Facebook was popularly used then. And I was getting a lot of inbox. From young people, young professionals. They are requesting for mentorship. They want to speak with me. Some of them were going through a lot during lockdown, issues of mental health. And you can imagine when young people are reaching out to you, they don't even know you, like we've not met professionally. But I think also because I was a lot on the media. I was doing a lot of counter-trafficking work, updating the nation every other Monday about what is happening in the country, the different children, whereby some of the children, the worst place to be was in their homes. They were, sexually abused. I would go from, different parts of the country and update every Monday. So when I noticed that, I tried to reach out to a few, especially those who were really, that call where, this young person cannot even talk to a parent or a neighbor, but is just reaching out somebody there whom they don't even know. But it became overwhelming because I was writing. So I just wrote and sent out a Facebook message. I just said, I recall saying, well, I see you, everybody who is inboxing, please, those who are in need of my mentorship, send me a one-pager as to why. And then I created an email and I told them to do so. Well, I got responses from Uganda, Kenya, Mali, Nigeria. I'm like, okay, what did I just start? And so that Zoom was just, beginning. Some of them were not aware of Zoom. So naturally, definitely I had to reach out, the people who are close to me. I remember the first, group of people were my Harvard Kennedy School classmates, class of 2017. So thank you, I really appreciate that class a lot. Professionals even within the region, within Uganda. So I had even to ask somebody, we taught them how to use Zoom because that's the only way we would do ever. I remember the very first session vividly. I even asked that, who's that on the top of the tree? It was one of young Ugandan, in northern Uganda. He was trying to get a signal. So he had literally climbed the tree, so we are seeing him on top of the tree. I'm like, oh, who is that? Are you okay? He was just getting a signal. I was seeing young professionals who later I realized when I was doing one-on-ones, even on Zoom, they'd walk like 10 kilometers, and just charge their phone so that they can have sessions. Because I told them, I don't want excuses. If you are to wash cars, wash them, because I want you to be on sessions. Because the journey, because I read as to why they want, mentorship. Some of them I threatened them to spill, to show those from 2020, because some of them would write things that you can actually do in 1 week. So I realized that, even the vision, even what around their surrounding was really limited. So it meant expanding, their horizons and their eyes, and to see what's out there. Because I realized the difference, between people who have made it in life and others who have not. It's really opportunity. Over the years, I've not seen any kid or any child or any young professional whom you can actually say is dumb or doesn't understand. No, it's not. There's no such a person in this world. It's just you to really look at this individual and say, okay, what is it in them that you can, blossom? Some of the things are really about their, self-awareness, self-awareness, low self-esteem, which you just have to come out. So that was how the Young Professional Program started. I made them they did a lot of voluntary work in their communities. We gave assignments, uplifting how they would work. So it was a whole, session, talk to each other within the group. Take a professional you were out to lunch. Even during lockdown, I wasn't going to take the idea that you cannot do, you reach out to your community. So they did a lot. So that's how, it really started. But fast forward, I remember now people started getting out of lockdown. And then there was the geopolitics, conference. And remember, I used to request whenever they called me to be a speaker. Even when I was, speaking in different universities, especially in the USA, I would request them if my mentees would participate. So they attended Watson Institute. They attended those programs to see, how other, professionals or their peers in class, to give them the confidence to share their ideas and stuff like that. So it was really amazing. So when I went for the geopolitics conference, it was at the NBS, I think, television, because it was a limited number of people at the studios. And so they allowed me to bring them in different phases according to the panel, discussion. So I did. And I remember I met people like Andrew Mwenda. I was with Andrew Mwenda in the GRC at Makerere University. And one of the key things, because you do prepare, these young professions to actually speak. And I told them, the worst thing that can happen is that somebody will kill you. But guess what? No one will. So when they say who has questions, go prepared with your questions, know which the panel is. I want you to stand up, put up your hand and go, to the platform and speak to the country. Because they want to hear your voice. These are people who have never been in the media, no one. So it was just like, so I was just there behind, like giving them morale and support. So they showed them, they were on TV, they were articulate. And then increasingly people started coming to me. I understand you are the young profession. That's how the CAS country director came in and sponsored their whole graduation. So they had the whole weekend of graduation. So like they say, the rest in history. So I remember during that graduation, when they came back, when we came back, because we went to Lake Victoria on the bus, and then they told me, no, they are not going to graduate. I'm like, but you just did. No, we can't. I don't know. And I said, no, we are not going to go to life in what? What I can do is now guidance. It's now implementation time. I'll keep guiding. That's how they made the decision to say, no, we have to pay it forward to mentor, others. And that's how the journey came. And now, as we speak, behind my back, they went to register and they named it Igoye Young Professional Mentorship Institute. And they told me clearly I wouldn't have allowed. So that's why they went and just registered and brought it to me, that we want to celebrate you when you're still alive, because you impacted our lives and want to pay it forward. And that's where we are, today. The 6 to 9 months I was with them. After that, I started seeing people, these young professionals, getting out of their shell. It is incredible. Certain things come vividly in mind. I remember the very first session when they were introducing themselves. So one of them said, I'm so-and-so, I'm just a teacher. I'm like, no, you're not just a teacher, you're a great teacher. And then being a child of teachers, I had to bring it to them that teaching is a noble profession. And so today, to see somebody who said they were just a teacher from a rural community go on to become a chevening scholar in the US, because chevening scholars are really the UK, really great program. And so we've had 2 now, University of Glasgow and University of Sussex. And to see that in that class we also have a Fulbright for the US. We've had yearly fellows, the young, the Mandela, fellows. Several of them, I think 5 of them. So we have somebody from Nigeria, people from Kenya, Uganda. So that's why I continue to do this. It makes me really realize the importance of taking care of the next generation. Because when you look at, us, people of my generation, there are certain things our generation put in place, the way they knew how, the guidance and all that. And looking at my own journey, how I've been supported, from various, angles. I mean, who am I to have a Fulbright, education, University of Minnesota, study in Oxford, study at the Harvard Kennedy School. I mean, it's been taxpayers' money. It's been certain people to put me in a journey I am. And seeing, and for me, when I'm reaching out to these individuals, I don't just look at them, oh, look what so-and-so has done. But that individual is going to get married. That's a family. That individual lives in community. That is a community. And during the course of the program, you even see amazing work they've done in their community because they do a lot of voluntary work. One of them started off during even lockdown, and children were moving around and people really were chasing them, from neighborhoods because they thought they're bringing them, COVID. So she sat them in her compound, helped them to social distance, how to wash hands. And she started reading to them. These are street kids and all that. And now she has a school. From that program, it developed into a school. So look at that. So that really, it makes, it's overwhelming emotions, many times. And it's also a realization that it's not about, governments or our parents and all. It's just an individual that where you're seated, what are you doing to make this world a better place? Who are you touching? Each one of us has something in them that they can give. An uplifting word can make a difference to the life of young professionals. That's why I go into deep. These young people have told me so much that they've never told anybody. And when we discuss, I've done one-on-ones because by the end of the program, you also have to do a one-on-one with me. They call me Chief Mentor. And so class of 2020, they became mentors, for the next class. So now we are graduating class of 2024. So class of 2024 will become mentors, to others. So like the mentors are growing, also in number. And they are doing tremendous work, in their communities. So each of them, they know they can give. And if these are the people we are working with, what about you who is seated in your office? Who has the resources? Who is learned? Who is exposed? Who have uplifting words? What it takes, I realize, just like 30 minutes to talk to this young person. Sometimes we give them an assignment that reach out to somebody you admire. Some of them, it's really a challenging one because the people they admire, because you have to really look out for them, find a professional way, to reach out to them. And I really want to appreciate those who have showed up for them because we don't even link them. It's an assignment. And surprisingly, they've realized they can do it. They've met really very influential people and they've sat down with them. And that activity is really, great. So wherever you were, sit down with those young professionals, those young people. They just want to hear from you, and they have what it takes to make a difference. The future of YPMP, actually we're already in the future, which is interesting, because under the IGOYA Young Professional Mentorship Institute, they've made it like the umbrella. So that's where we have the Young Professional Mentorship Program. That's the flagship, program. So graduating now, I think they are like 89, and then the community work they are doing, and that is like 6 months, 8-9 months, program, and that's annually. So it's really a flagship program. And then we have the counter human trafficking program, which is really so dear to my heart. That's why you find that some of our mentees are actually survivors of human trafficking. We have survivors of human trafficking, we have refugees who have gone on to do amazing things. I remember one of them, I'll say his name Pech because he talks about it publicly. He was in a refugee camp, in northern Uganda. And I remember the very, very first time I spoke with him, he was afraid because he has no degree. He felt intimidated because some of the people in the class, virtual class, were degree holders or they are students. And I said, no, that's not the case. So we had a discussion, and then he started doing a lot of things within his camp, boosting his self-confidence, supporting refugees. Even started his community, best, within the camp itself. And as we speak, he's an American, University in Nairobi on a MasterCard fellowship. He's studying, engineering, everything AI. And just yesterday, he sent a message to the group because he was on his way to South Africa, representing and doing certain things with Yali. So he's really, what a progress taken off. If you meet Pech talks, Pech is uplifted, it's amazing. And so when we have survivors of human trafficking, and seeing them blossom, and to really give them the skills, because sometimes mentorship program, survivors of trafficking want to be like us. They want to be leaders. They want to be big things. It's not just about, making beads. I don't know. I have no problem with certain programs, but I want really things they can do themselves, and to make them study with their peers without the stigma, and being appreciated and supported. And so we have a whole team, supporting them, and they do a lot of awareness, as well. I want to appreciate, organizations which are supportive. On World Day Against Trafficking, they were the ones doing the events. On Girl Champions Awards, they were present. On the Kampala Entebbe Challenge, working for trafficking and all that, they were the ones lifting and in front and moving. And so to see them, blossom and achieve things they want to do. So the counter-trafficking program is really dear to my heart. And now we also have the Igwe Space Education Program. That's mainly a brainchild. So one of our mentees class of 2020, I recall, sending him a message and attending geopolitics, with me. So he came from Mukono. He was in Mukono University. And that time, the first one-on-one, he had said he wanted to become a criminal lawyer. But I kept probing why. But it zeroes down that, when you hear, what about criminal lawyer, there's a difference between when you're studying and when you're out in the field. But that day, there was Kasibante. Kasibante is a space, lawyer, so speaking everything space and all that. So he came to me, my mentee came to me, I see him with Joshua Opota. He comes to me and he's like, Madam, that was interesting. I think I'm interested in space. I said, you know what to do? Because we taught them how to do their homework. So I introduced him to Kasibante, and he went on, to study. Before I knew it, he had joined the Space, Generation Council. And as I speak today, he's the country lead for Uganda. Very young. He's just in his early 20s. And now we are having this space program, within the program, having young people, because there are so many young people who are interested, in space exploration, Earth, and everything space, but they don't have the education. So to really support them along that and link them to these international networks is great, because one of the mentees, even before we started that, was telling me, oh, she wanted to do space and all that, but there are no avenues. And that is the future. We see a lot of work, done with space and all that, and that is limited even within the African continent. So I'm glad that my mentees are, excited about that. And then we have another program, Arts and Culture, amazing. Celebrating our culture. People, the young people are so expressive, and some of them amazingly, You find those whom people may think are introverts and all that. So that is the art, is the way. I think you've listened to some of our poets, Destiny Globe, and the Girl Champions Award. It blew. I mean, I remember the minister Balaam was so impressed, with her. And geopolitics, they've done this. They are exposing themselves there. So we have a lot of poets. We have people who will draw and all that. So we are looking forward to having kind of competition so that they expose themselves. Then they will support those who are into the arts and culture. And so you see that the mentorship program is not something I'm bringing into the young people. It's young people saying, okay, this is what we want. It's like you giving them just the impetus to get out of their shell. Then you start seeing, wow, this one is talented in this way. There are some talented in football, soccer, and now I have one of my mentees. She's a lady, and she started a whole program of children, in refugee camps, children who get pregnant, early, and she started a whole football. Girls playing soccer. It's amazing as to how they play. She mobilizes community to speak into issues of early pregnancies and all that. So they are doing a lot of work into their communities. I have many of our mentees working within refugee camps. Like I said, some of them are refugees, so they are making a difference in those areas and also growing themselves. So there's so much going on, and I'm really excited for the young people in these programs. It's really a call, to action. I know that now we are really growing, and those who want to support us, yes, please do. I know that this year is going to be especially instrumental because we are creating an office where we want all these young people, create their ideas, because very, very often the people who recruit organizations, they want experience. But where are they getting experience? So we want them to come and want a space where they can come and free and to make mistakes. Speak with them, they make this. We have so many creatives. So we are creating, that space. So if you have computers, you have, furniture, whatever it is, we want to create, that, for the young people. Because we've seen it is working. I've seen how much they are doing in their work. And even you, wherever you are, I really challenge, what are you doing? What are you doing for young people? If you don't have a platform, ask some of us, because I have access, to so many. I mean, the numbers are overwhelming because I can't even take on, so many of them. Because now and it's not just a challenge within Uganda. I see it also now widespread, because in the program we've had people from Bangladesh, Uganda, United Arab Emirates, Lebanon, based in Lebanon, even the USA, within the continent. So it's not really something. So young people, there are those similar challenges they're having. They just want, and they don't have to travel to far areas to really get that exposure. So if you're a professional and you're actually skilled, and you can come in as a guest speaker, hallelujah, I really welcome. And if you're an organization and you are based in Uganda or Kenya, and you can take in some of our people, and by the way, they're amazing. Because right now, I know all geopolitics events, they run events, and whenever they do organize, when there are conferences and all that, people reach out to me and I get tremendous feedback. They are really amazing. And so if you're doing events and you want a touch of professionalism, they're that professional. And I want to thank, those who have supported us, CAS. I know that, American Embassy, this time, we are going to have graduation, exercises. We have, Ministry of Internal Affairs, World Against Trafficking, they've supported them. The work, people in the counter-trafficking, movement. And so when you allow these people to participate in your events and all, you're growing them, you're exposing them. So there's room for everybody else. We require professional. I have people who are skilled with the cameras and all that. They have created our own website. The person actually, if you go and see our website and you like it, this is somebody who is a diploma. He's just studying a certificate, but he's doing great work. Go look at our website, you'll be amazed. And so if you harness more skills to somebody like this, because everything you see, that was social media, and it's these young people. If you go to our website, the director of communication is Destiny, class of 2020. The director of programs. So I'm the only Muyayu. If you're in Uganda, you'll know what I mean. I'm the only Muyayu. The rest have gone through the program. They are running it. And it just shows you how young people are capable of doing stuff. If you thought they didn't, look at the young professionals. They are doing it, and no one has come. And up to date, by the way, we've not gotten resources from people to run the program. So that also shows you they've put in their work, the resource, the airtime, their hours. But now that we are growing, we welcome now. I think we are ready, to open up, to let people support us. But I want to first let you see what we've done without resources. It's incredible. And for me, that's a joy. That's what I really wanted. That, look at what these young, Ugandans, young Kenyans, these young Africans have done without external support, without the resources. That it is their hands, there are things they are doing for their communities, and they see it flourishing. They are touching lives of young people, young generation. They are seeing it, and no one is giving them money. But because they have hands and they can give time, and they are learning from professionals, and they are channeling it to communities, and just see what they've been able to do. So it can be done.